there was a right old rush to get a position in the pavilion this morning when the gates were open. They came charging in to get the prime seats so that they could watch at close hand Sachin Tendulkar lead the MCC team out here at Lord's. It's a great day. 200-year celebration of this famous old ground. Some famous players have been dragged in for the occasion. There'll be an army of physiotherapists up in either changing room as well, Paul, to deal with some sore bones at the end of the day.
Certainly will. I'm really looking forward to the opening foray in this game as well, because we've got Adam Gilchrist and Virender Sehwag opening the batting for the rest of the world, and three bowlers bowling for the MCC in Tate, Gull and Lee, who have got a bit of pace and a bit of guile between them.
Well, we had some rain earlier in the day, but thankfully that seems to have gone, and we're expecting a fine afternoon. To say, fairly gentle warm-ups on behalf of both teams this morning. I didn't see any cones or ladders, no charging around, just a gentle bat and a bowl. Virender Sehwag just walked out, looked at the pitch and walked back in for a cup of tea.
Took us back, Michael, didn't it? Not so long ago when that was the sort of warm-up we did, just a stroll round the ground and a bit of a jog. Brett Lee, though, was doing some pretty serious bowling. He ran in and bowled for 5 or 10 minutes with the keeper stood back on an old pitch. I get the feeling that most of these players will take this very seriously indeed.
Yes, there's not going to be much of an edge to the fixture, but they'll want to perform. They'll want to show off their skills and show off their wares. They've all got great records behind them and a bit of ego as well, and they'll want to put on a show. I hope he puts on a show.
Could be fantastic, wouldn't it? Yeah. Prospect of Tendulkar and Lara batting together. A reasonable way back. Keeper and slips here for Brett Lee.
Well, I saw Brett Lee bowl in the winter.
Piers Morgan didn't, did he? Didn't see so many.
He did run through the crease, mind. He'll have to stay behind the line today.
There's a few have run through the crease at Piers Morgan.
We were willing him on. Well, here he is at the pavilion end. He wouldn't have bowled with the new ball from there very often, because McGrath would have had it most often in that Australian team, but he's up against his former teammate Gilchrist with a camera on the lid, facing up, as he always has done in one-day internationals. Top of the order. And a thick inside edge gets him away. I was wondering who was chasing after that. That's Shivnarine Chanderpaul. He's still playing.
Oh, Shiv, you've not done your warm-ups, have you? Dear, oh dear, that was a very stiff leg chase to square leg. Gilchrist off the mark, though, with a nice inside edge.
Sean Tate is down at fine leg. He's been here at Lord's for a while, limbering up and loosening up, bowling at Brian Lara. Trying to get the West Indian into a bit of nick. 46 years of age. He's the oldest man. 45 years of age, actually. I've done him a disservice. 45 years of age. I said 46 because I played against Brian Lara in the Youth World Cup, so I just assumed he was exactly the same age as me. But he's 45, not 46. Virender Sehwag, one of the most exciting players of the last decade or two. Got glasses on.
Well, he only ever played one way, and I can't see him changing now. Just
No.
to crash it from ball one.
Stand there and whack it.
Bit of swing from Brett Lee. It's encouraging for the bowler, maybe not so for Virender Sehwag. 2 slips waiting. First ball of the day, and just a limbering up chase for Shivnarine Chanderpaul. Saved the boundary anyway. Good combination, bowling from the pavilion end with away movement from the right-hander. The slope naturally brings the ball back down into the right-hander, but that swung early and kept on going. So he attempted to crash it through the covers. Good shot, missed the ball.
Not tempted this time. Chris Reed with the gauntlets on today. He's got a nice slip cordon for company. Rahul Dravid at first slip, Brian Lara at second. Sachin Tendulkar, the captain, is at mid-off. Dan Vettori at mid-on. Some swing there for Brett Lee, and Richard Kettleborough deciding that that should be a wide. I reckon the umpires will give the players a bit more leeway today than in a one-day international.
Well, it didn't look like it from that delivery. It started okay and swung wide. Ian Gould at square leg, played a lot of his career on this ground. Keeper, batsman for Middlesex.
Well, he's flirting with it, is Virender Sehwag. Just taking a while to find his bearings. 4 for 9.
Well, it was a silky smooth over from Brett Lee, wasn't it? Maybe not at top pace, and you won't expect that, but the run-up and the delivery, as ever. Now maybe a little bit low, but there's movement, a little bit of swing and carrying on up the hill.
Tino Best, Kevin Peterson returning to a ground which is graced on so many occasions, and Morley there on his left. Umar Gul now, the right arm fast medium bowler from Pakistan. Very gentle, didn't it, that? Tickled away for the first boundary of the day.
Good old-fashioned loosener. Don't get to see too many of those in modern day cricket, but they were quite commonplace years ago. Gentle stroll to the wicket, and the arm coming over. Don't bowl on Gilchrist's legs though. He's pretty efficient at getting the ball away.
Why do you bowl at him then?
Well, straight would be a start, wouldn't it? Especially when he's not played for a while. But certainly not leg side.
There will do. At the moment, the way Umar Gul is sending them down, I think Chris Reed and the slips have got to be a bit closer.
See the camera on Adam Gilchrist's helmet there. We'll be able to show you some shots from that a little bit later. Can't do live shots at the moment. Let's hope he stays out there for a while. Highlights of Gilchrist's innings via the helmet cam later on.
Don't bowl there. Paul Allett said, don't bowl at Adam Gilchrist's leg stump. Umar Gul does and pays a price.
Gull. He's only 30 years of age, still playing international cricket, but he's not exactly ripping them down at the moment. I thought Sean Tate might get the new ball.
He might after this over.
Have a rest.
Did you not get the call up for this game, Paul?
Sadly not, Michael, no. Pedigree not quite up there. What about you?
Oh, no.
Yeah, just about at the age of...
One blocker is enough, Paul Collingwood.
40 what? 6, are you? One blocker. 46. You're only a year older than Lara.
Exact contemporaries, that's what I was saying at the start of the day. We played in the Under-19 World Cup, same tournament together.
Did you pick up any tips? Did you wonder why can't I play like that? Was that?
Well, I can't remember him being absolutely outstanding at that age. Played out in the outback in South Australia, places like Mildura, Berry, Renmark, dodgy pitches. No! Umar Gull gets one on the spot, 12 for none. Did a function here last night for some Times readers. Q&A with Brett Lee, Morley and James Anderson, and managed to take a couple of mates up to the home dressing room at the end of the day and looked at Sachin's bats. They're unbelievable. Biggest pieces of wood you've ever seen. Big, thick kind of railway sleepers of bats. Legs away, much to the delight of the crowd. There's a significant Indian presence in the crowd today, and they enjoyed that.
So did Sehwag, locating the middle of the bat at last, having played and missed at a couple in the previous Brett Lee over. This one still swinging, but the full toss timed nicely. Interesting about the bats, because Tendulkar, a lot of these players will have played through the era of the smaller, thinner, lighter bat and gone on to these great big chunks, these clefts of wood that they use now. Like being hit through extra cover for 4, just a little bit more pace and a bit of extra bounce from Brett Lee in the follow-up delivery. You didn't play with the bigger bats, did you? Would it have made a difference to you? Bound to have done, though. Well, I mean, in all seriousness.
I was picking up Sachin's bats last night, and I really just found them too heavy. Obviously, it's a long time since I've played, but I don't think I could have played with the weight of bat that he's using now. Brian Lara, another big piece of wood in his kit bag. They've been practicing pretty assiduously. I had a chat with Brian Lara on Thursday, and he's been working quite hard to get in a bit of nick for this game. He played for the MCC against Hertfordshire, made 56, said he felt good. Been netting against Sean Tate and many of the MCC young cricketers here. John Stevenson of the MCC was telling me he's bought a box for the day. He's bought 50 tickets, invited loads of friends and family. Special day. Beautiful shot. Classic Sehwag, is a bit straighter from Brett Lee. Not had to feel for this outside the off stump. It was in his area. Well,
it's essentially the way that Sehwag plays, isn't it? That bat coming down dead straight, beautiful check drive. Saw the cover drive earlier in the over. This one straighter delivery and hit back perfectly straight. Over 250. Yeah, look at that strike rate through 251 matches. Better than a runner ball over 251 games.
The astonishing strike rate is actually his one in Test cricket. Strike rate of 82 in Test cricket at the top of the order. That's incredible.
Yeah, and he was #1 in the Test rankings not that long ago, 4 years ago. Some time after his peak at One Day International, which has got to #3 in the charts, as they say, in 2003.
Just 2 slips. Had there been a 4th? Who knows? 22 for none.
Well, in his pomp, Brett Lee may have had 4 slips when running in with a new ball. Oh, that's a good ball as well. It's just seemed to touch up the hill. Roll back the years, 10 years or so ago, so it may well have gone.
That's the order we think the rest of the world will line up. Tammy Iqbal at 3, Peterson 4, Yuvraj 5, Collingwood 6. Maybe if the overs are ticking away, Shahid Afridi might come in ahead of Paul Collingwood.
Why do you think that then? Bowlers beware with that top 5. Chris Sehwag, Tammy Iqbal, Peterson, Yuvraj, and then Afridi to come in after that.
Don't bother running for those.
I thought Umar Gul might be loose after his first over. It doesn't look as though he is. Leg stump half volley, but nicely played. Whipped away through square leg by Sehwag. Familiar flick of the wrist.
No second slip. He's been taken out to put into that catching position on the offside. So another boundary to Sehwag, who's just starting to motor now, 17 from 13. So he's enjoying himself.
Why not? He's hit 4 fours, couple of streaky ones maybe, but problem with that, a little bit of movement down the slope from Umar Gul. Only one player out of the 22 not played a test match. That's Aaron Finch. Explosive 2020 player. Plying his trade at Yorkshire at the moment as one of their overseas players. How will he feel, do you think, opening the batting later on with Sachin? Whether Sachin will open or not, Maybe Dravid will open. No, I think Sachin will open with Aaron Finch.
Finch, Tendulkar,
You'd be
Lara
nervous.
3, Dravid 4.
Wouldn't you? As Aaron Finch, you'd be nervous.
Hasn't looked the nervous type to me, and I've seen him smacking it around.
Yeah, that's true, but the company's in pretty august company, isn't he?
Amazing to think that cricket has been played here for a couple of 100 years, though. First ever match, 22nd of June 1814, MCC against Hertfordshire. The game was replayed, of course, a couple of weeks ago, or last week. 30 for none, 4 gone. Well, it's been a gentle enough start here. Umar Gul has just slowly tried to get into things, just sending them down pretty gently at about 70 miles an hour. Brett Lee with a bit more vigour. Gilchrist has 11, Sehwag 17.
Ten overs per bowler in this 50 over a side match. Take a bit of getting through for some of them. Brett Lee looking all right now, but you wonder about the second spell or the third spell, although he's pretty fit. Spinners can fiddle through 10, can't they? Syed Ajmal will bowl later.
Yeah, Ajmal and Vittori.
Played nicely. Just by instinct, really. Up on his toes and steering it down to third man.
Slow ball, which Adam Gilchrist just cottoned on to at the last minute.
Look at those boots he's got on. Got, KP initials on the side. I wonder if he's borrowed them or Kevin's just lent them to him or given them to him, maybe.
Be wondering why there are no South African players in either side. I think the MCC originally had a number of South African players to play. Sean Pollock there is the manager of the rest of the world team, but no South African players playing. And that's because South Africa and Sri Lanka then decided to play a one-day international series, so a number of South Africans and Sri Lankans who were down to play had to pull out. .33 for none. Didn't look overly stressed there, Sean Pollock, did he? I saw him in the middle, asked him what he was doing here. He said he's managing the team.
Managing the team, that's the cushiest number.
That?
Well, the president of MCC's managing the other team, the MCC side. There's Sean Pollock, yeah. And there is the other manager.
Gat's just here for the lunch.
He's always just been here for the lunch. One of the great Lord's characters, Nancy, who's sadly no longer with us, looked after the players' dining room for years and years and years.
A couple of gentle overs from Umar Gul, and now Sean Tate, who once upon a time was very, very fast indeed.
Miles an hour first delivery, got a leg slip in place.
This was some years ago. We clocked this one at 100 miles an hour. What year that was? Was that 2009, I should think. Slashes away, given width, and helps it over cover for four.
Faster they come, faster they go for Gilchrist. Typical swashbuckling shot from the Australian left-hander.
Take a bit of that, Adam Gilchrist.
Old Gilly, 42. Somebody should sign him up. A bit of 2020 cricket, couldn't he?
Wide.
As well as bowling very quickly, Sean Tate, just occasionally could send an extremely wide delivery. Kind of collapses, doesn't he, in delivery stride.
Yeah, he's only 31 years of age, Sean Tate, and he's probably one of the first of the generation that decided that the longer form of the game wasn't for him, and he'll concentrate on predominantly 20-over cricket.
I think the kind of decision was made because his body couldn't cope with bowling quickly in prolonged spells and through a day.
Game, yeah.
Pulled away. It's quite sharp, that, from Sean Tate, and Adam Gilchrist looks in terrific nick.
Well, he's picked that up really early. Adam Gilchrist not worried about the fact that it's a bouncer and it's homing in on that helmet of his. In great position. Hammered it away over square leg.
Even better. better. That's the best of the lot. That is a beautiful stroke through extra cover.
Well, we've seen 3 sumptuous boundaries from Adam Gilchrist in this over. The flashing cover drive off the back foot, the pull, and as Michael says, I think that is the best of the lot from a purist point of view. The forcing back foot drive through the covers, one of the hardest shots to play and play well. He's still got it.
A good delivery to finish from Sean Tate, but the 50 is up and we've had 6 overs.
Really fine over as far as Gilchrist is concerned, the 4 boundaries. We've got the straight drive. Nothing wrong with that either, was there?
Fine leg is up inside the circle. It's Umar goal and it just went past him in a flash.
There's a forlorn cry of catch from the bowler, Brett Lee. Just clipping that off his toes. Slower ball from Brett Lee. It's well disguised. Nothing too discernible from batsman's perspective that was going to be a slower ball. They've had the thumb tucked under the seam. It came out significantly slower than anything else he's bowled. Decent nick, aren't they, these two?
Bouncer followed by smiles all round.
That's well directed and well evaded.
Was full, it just came back down the hill a little way and it's beaten a fairly flimsy defence from Virender Sehwag. He played nicely though, hit some nice shots, but he's gone now for 22.
Well, the smile says it all from Brett Lee. Still obviously enjoys the contest and nothing better than winning the contest. That's nipped back down the hill. Most of the deliveries this morning have gone away up the hill with a bit of swing. That one just nipping back through the gate. It was left open by Virender Sehwag. Gone for 22. It's 54 for 1.
change now, Rob.
England cricket and Hardies, generations of devotion.
Well done, Mike. Just ease this in very nicely.
Ease does it.
So Tamim Iqbal wanders to the crease, average of just below 30. Entertaining player, of course, from Bangladesh. Pitch has a tinge of green to it, so slightly different conditions perhaps that Tamim is used to. And Brett Lee is, well, not quite steaming in, but going nicely. A couple of slips in place for the new batsman. Andrew's alongside me. Enjoyed the best part of 7 overs.
Well, it's been wonderful watching Adam Gilchrist play. He looks in great touch. Amazingly good form for him. Age of 42. Bowling's looked a little gentle at times, understandably so. What a great moment for Tamim Iqbal. End of the over, rest of the ball 54 for 1. He'll be only 25 years of age. He's playing with his heroes today.
Yeah, and the reason he's in because it's just gone down the hill slightly, hasn't it? There, just enough nip down the hill to defeat Sehwag. Very limited foot movement. There always has been with Sehwag. Economy of movement. That's generally why Brett Lee likes to go full to Sehwag, and he gets his reward.
Yeah, not a day to assassinate Virender Sehwag's technique, but that is the area to bowl at him, isn't it? Very full and straight, and Brett Lee's loving it, really relishing the atmosphere here. First taste of spin. A man who's banging form for Worcestershire at the moment. Incredible performer. I wouldn't be surprised if Gilchrist has seen much of Syed Ajmal.
It's one of the beauties of the game today, isn't it? One of the geniuses, really, of the modern game. Syed Ajmal, with all the variations that he possesses up against one of the best players of yesteryear, Adam Gilchrist. How he will play. Slip in place and a catcher at mid-off. I wonder if he'll go through all his variations to Gilchrist.
One didn't turn very much, but you can see the scrambled seam, and that's the problem with Ajmal. Very hard to read which way that ball is turning. Gilchrist watching it off the wickets. Not a bad way to play early on. Had a lot of chat about Tendulkar and Lara and Warne. That man in your picture, he was a brilliant player. Completely changed the way the world look at wicketkeeper batsmen, really. I mean, came into the Australian side, took over from Ian Healy, and suddenly it was no longer good enough just for the wicketkeeper to keep wicket. Had to be able to go out there and bat aggressively. Test career 47.61.
And stopped. We wondered how he played. He tries to use his feet. Ajmal's just too good.
Absolutely wonderful delivery from Ajmal, but what a great take from Chris Reed as well. This is an unbelievable stumping. Through bat and pad, took it high up, and that is brilliant work from Chris Reed. A wry smile from Adam Gilchrist. He's been defeated. He goes for 29. Rest of the world 54 for 2.
England cricket and Hardies, generations of devotion.
To perhaps the biggest roar of the day, Kevin Pietersen strides to the crease. Outstanding average, outstanding player. He'll enjoy every moment of this contest. He'll be up against Ajmal. Many still believe that that's his nemesis, spin. I can remember him scoring back-to-back hundreds in the UAE in the one-days a couple of years ago. So he'll have happy memories of facing Ajmal.
Yeah, you say his nemesis is spin, but he's played Warne and Murali better than anyone in world cricket. He's smashed them everywhere. Left arm spin, more of a problem for Pietersen. He would have seen a fair amount of Ajmal in the past.
Solid front foot block to set him on his way. I was interested with the reaction that he got. I mentioned the big cheer and crowd very much behind Kevin Pietersen here at Lord's.
Well, it's a chance for everyone to celebrate one of England's great batsmen.
Pietersen on his way with one down the ground. Wicket though for Ajmal in his first over, 55 for 2.
This is the greeting that accompanied Kevin Pietersen out to the wicket. Very warm applause here at Lord's. He's been a wonderful entertainer over the years for England. Brilliant player in all conditions. The crowd are relishing the opportunity to see him back one more time at the home of cricket.
Did an interview or two yesterday. They said he still very much wants to play for England. This will be a test for him. You say his nemesis perhaps is left arm spin. Maybe that's why Vettori is now in to the attack. Maybe that's what they're giggling about.
Yeah. Excellent captaincy from Sachin Tendulkar. Get the left arm spinner on, sliding it down that slope. A pretty good left arm spinner as well, Daniel Vettori. Phenomenal. Flight and guard, old school spinner. Plenty of drift and flight.
He's got one down the ground, get off strike. Really looking forward to seeing Pietersen bat here. Not been in the greatest of form from what I've seen from the T20 Blast. Of course, he's been playing for Surrey. The other one, the one that goes the other way, and Gilchrist didn't pick him. He uses his feet, and you're right, Andrew, that's a quite wonderful take from Chris Reed. Not easy with the extra bounce.
Yeah, not only that, he wouldn't have seen a lot of side Ajmal in the past, so picking that was the wrong and getting himself in a position to take that ball. Wonderful wicketkeeper, Chris Reed.
Slider, that beard's coming on too, isn't it? Crikey. Been so good over the years, not so much with the turn, never a prodigious turner of the ball, but flight and variation. Intelligent bowler, gets the ball up above the eye line. He varies his pace a lot throughout the over. Oh, have to hurry if it was a pickup. In the end, Tendulkar couldn't quite grab the ball.
Just getting down, a bit of an issue. Chris Reed. Probably a chance that can't blame Sachin. Sachin did say he's been having a few nets in preparation for this game. Wonder how many fielding practices he would have had.
Not many. Why would you? Edged again, just a little bit quicker, I think, from Vettori. Good start though from Vettori. 3 runs from his first. 58 for 2. So good start, I think, for the rest of the world. 58 for 2. Shane Warne said, yeah, we'll have a bat first. Perhaps not at its flattest right now. A little tinge of green. But they got off to a decent start, thanks to Adam Gilchrist and Virender Sehwag. So work to be done now for Kevin Peterson and Tamim Iqbal. Yeah, just need an extra catcher. That's what the delay is. And at mid-wickets now, catching. One-day cricket being played in whites, Andrew. How it should be, eh?
Absolutely right. Red ball. Run rate's a bit high, though, for my liking. So it's 3 or 4 and over for the first 15.
Surprised not seeing you out there with the pads on, Andrew.
No, I don't think there's any place in this game for a stodgy little left-hander.
Oh, yeah.
Just going back to Syed Ajmal, you did a brilliant interview with him, didn't you, a couple of weeks ago, Nighty? Just talking about all these varieties. He's quite happy to run people through it. And you could just see his incredible enthusiasm for the game of cricket. Just loves the game.
Actually, Andrew, what I found most interesting, actually, about the interview was that he was so forthcoming with all his variations. I mean, we had a camera there, of course. He put the ball in front of the camera, showed us all the variations, back of the hand. Said he got 6 different variations. But he wasn't reticent to sort of go through those, which you can understand a modern professional, or he'd give away too many of his secrets. But he was very happy, and I said off to him, thank you very much for that. That was very refreshing. And he said, well, he said, Durham boys at the time were watching the interview and they were about to play in the game. He said, no, don't worry about people picking me. Now then is that, yes it is. It is straight enough. It is going to go on and hit the stumps, and Ian Gould says yes, another wicket for Syed Ajmal.
Well, no reviews here in this game, but we see this sort of dismissal so often in this day and age. The age of DRS, these are given all the time by umpires, skidding on with the arm. Yeah, in front of off stump, going to hit middle and off, probably. It's a good decision from Ian Gould. Yet another wicket for Syed Ajmal. Tamim Iqbal goes for 1, rest of the world 59 for 3.
Yeah, spot on. It's a very much a modern dismissal, isn't it? Just pushing forward now with the aid of DRS. You see a lot of those dismissals. Those are going to go on and hit the stumps. Perhaps 5-10 years ago, you'd get away with that. Well, I'd say that probably just about eclipses the Peterson cheer, roar, if you like, as he came to the crease. Yuvraj, always good to see Yuvraj bat.
Very popular player, Yuvraj Singh, mainly because of the way he plays. Such an aggressive cricketer. It's another look at the dismissal. It wasn't the wrong, and it just sort of skidded on. Was there a hint of an inside edge? I don't know, but Chris Reed wasn't that interested.
Yeah, perhaps if we did have DRS, that might decision might have been overturned. We'll have another look at that in a moment or so. That's an outstanding average. It really is. Nearly 36.37. Been a great entertainer as well over the years. With 6 sixes, of course, against Stuart Broad. That was in Durban. So 1 run from the over and a wicket. 10 gone, 59 for 3.
And full of incident, this power play. The openers got the rest of the world off to a perfect start. Gilchrist and Virender Sehwag were full of attacking intent. That was a brilliant shot against Sean Tatesburg from Gilchrist, but then Lee struck. Perfect delivery for Virender Sehwag. Yasmal Dusra got Gilchrist, and then Iqbal falls. MCC right back in the game.
Colley's got the pads on. Colley's coming in next. Might just be the perfect scenario for Paul Collingwood.
Yep, slow down the run rate and plink it about for 1s and 2s. Gonna be great. Great moment for him as well, isn't it? He's achieved so much in an England shirt to be playing alongside these players.
Yeah, most appearances in a one-day international shirt. 197 for Paul Collingwood. He's been a phenomenal player in one-day cricket, particularly over the years. Now, what do we reckon? Do we reckon there was a little inside edge here? Chris Reed, I think, from his reaction, yeah, I think there's an inside edge. I think he's very unlucky. Slight indication there from Tamim, and definitely there from Chris Reed. There was an inside edge.
Chris Reed would have been appealing a bit harder if he was playing for Notts. Very hard, very, very small edge, though, wasn't it?
Classic Peterson. Just on the pads, and he's so strong through that area.
Well, Peterson announced himself on the world stage with these type of shots, the flamingo shot. Able to get so much power on that flick through mid-wicket. And he'll be helped greatly by the fact he's still playing. He's only playing once a week for Surrey, but he'll be netting every day. Just keeps the reflexes sharp.
Right, a little bit more cover now at mid-wicket. So catcher at mid-wicket and a man behind. Yeah, said in an interview yesterday, didn't he, Kevin Peterson? He's desperate still to play for England. England have moved on, haven't they? I think very much so. But perhaps members of the public haven't. They'll have a fair degree of support out there that will say, hang on, Kevin Peterson should still be England's side. And he gets runs today. I guess that'll just heighten that a little bit more.
Yeah, although England haven't been struggling for runs, the new guys that have come in have all done well. Give Joe Root's double 100 at Lords, Gary Ballon's got 100 at Lords, Moeen Ali 100 at Headingley, Sam Robson 100 as well. I think it remains an issue while England are losing. If they're not winning consistently, if there's concerns about the balance of the side, then that man in your picture will always be talked about, because he has the ability to change games on his own. That's a very rare commodity in world cricket. I think you're right, England have moved on and they've got to start rebuilding. It's a start of a new cycle for English cricket.
It's also a challenge for Kevin himself, isn't it? Because he's, as you mentioned, just playing perhaps once, maybe twice a week, 2020 cricket. It's not the magnitude of cricket and the amount of cricket that he's used to, and therefore popping in and out of games, I guess, will have its own challenge for Peterson in terms of form and rhythm.
You think about the other members of the Surrey side, they'll be playing championship cricket in between 2020s. They'll be spending a lot of time in the middle. Peterson just having to make do with net sessions.
Sure, we might see that a little bit from Tate to Yuvraj, but nicely played. Just at one, so Yuvraj off and running. 6 from the over, 65 for 3. Pretty relaxed, don't they? Tino Best on the left and Sehwag, who's played his part with the bat. Just be soaking up the moment, soaking up the occasion. Collingwood's just pacing now, due in next.
It was interesting, Nick, when we were up at that game at Worcester and I was talking to Syed Ajmal, I asked him, who's the best player you've ever bowled at? Who played you better than anyone else? And he said Kumar Sangakkara. One of the guys on display here today. But I was surprised really, because as a left-hander, I thought as a left-hander he would struggle against Ajmal. He said, no, he picked all my variations. He was always one step ahead of me.
Clever, clever. No man on the 1, so Peterson happy to play the shot.
It was almost Dill scoop, wasn't it?
The other thing that came out of that interview, which I found fascinating with Ajmal, was if he thinks you're picking him, and you mentioned that Kumar was picking him, he then bowls a delivery where he shows you the back of the hand and then bowls the off spinner. So if he feels the batsman's got the better of him, he's got an option of bowling what he calls, I don't know what he calls it actually, but a different type of delivery to try and fox the bats. Very clever, isn't it? Very difficult to pick.
Well, what I found most difficult about Syed Ajmal was the pace he bowled. So if you're relying on picking it off the wicket, you just don't have time. You've got to pick it out the hand.
And gone. Peterson didn't pick it. Ajmal's got the better of Peterson. Again, an excellent stumping from Chris Reeve.
Absolutely, Peterson didn't pick it out the hand. So hard to pick these deliveries from Syed Ajmal going down the slope. Look at those rotations on the ball. That's going the other way, and he's done him hook, line and sinker. Brilliant from Reed. He's happy with that one. Ajmal is on fire. Three wickets for him. Short stay for Peterson. He goes for 10. Rest of the world 68 for 4.
England cricket and Hardies, generations of devotion.
Well, this is a change to the scorecard we were given. Collingwood was due in next, but Shane Warne said, nah, I'm going to send in Shahid Afridi. I thought this is a perfect situation for Paul Collingwood. Just nudge and nurdle and get the team back in a good position. 68 for 4. Shane Warne sees it differently.
Warne wanting to meet fire with fire. Ajmal against Afridi.
We as neutral observers need some runs here. What we don't want, and I'm sure all the viewers at home watching, they don't want to see 100 all out here. They want to see a good game. And Kevin Peterson just didn't pick it. Variation, it went the other way. And too good, yes, gone through the defences of Shahid Afridi. So the decision to bring in Afridi hasn't worked. Ajmal picks up 4.
Saeed Ajmal, stop taking wickets. This is not what we need. Brilliant bowling again. He's a class apart, this man. Just the regulation off spinner wasn't picked by Afridi. Difficult when you haven't been out there for a while to face that type of bowling. Afridi goes for a blob. 68 for 5.
Well, surely it's going to be Paul Collingwood now. Yeah, Paul Collingwood out to try and rebuild this innings that has fallen apart, really, thanks to the introduction of Saeed Ajmal. 4 for 5 from just 3. Yeah, nice applause for Paul Collingwood. 197 one-day international appearances, so outstanding, really, for England over many, many years. Still playing, of course, for Durham.
Yeah, and a very underrated cricketer, Paul Collingwood, not just for his batting capabilities, his all-round contributions to the team, fielding, bowling, in the dressing room. Could play a number of different ways as well, Paul Collingwood. Could be aggressive when needed. He could do the rebuilding job, which is what he's got to do today. Really missed when he retired at the end of the Ashes tour in 2010-11.
Well, what do you do, Sachin? 3 overs he's bowled. He's got 4 wickets. 68 for 5. Does he keep him going, or does he say someone else have a go? Maybe we'll get an idea as to how this game is going to be played right now. Exhibition game, of course, but and it's been an exhibition from Saeed Ajmal, hasn't it? 4 for 5 from just 3.
Wouldn't at all be surprised to see a bowling change coming up. Too good, Saeed. You're too good, mate.
Four in just 3 overs. First of them, Adam Gilchrist. We were wondering how he would play him. Well, he used his feet and didn't pick the one that went the other way. And I think he was unlucky there. Well, inside edging, Gould didn't pick that up. And then Kevin Peterson all at sea, not quite sure which way it was turning. And beaten for pace, I think, Shahid Afridi. So all the variations from Ajmal. We've just had a tweet in, actually, from Jim Allenby. Jim's playing at Glamorgan, of course, captains them in the 2020 side. He's a nice tweet, really. He just said, well, if these legends can't pick Saeed Ajmal, he said, I don't feel quite so bad about my dismissal last week. Perhaps sums it up, really.
We're talking about being beaten for pace. Shahid Afridi. And that's the great thing about Ajmal. He can vary his pace so much. Well, there's only one set of figures you need to look at there. Ajmal, 3 overs, no maidens, 4 wickets for 5 runs. It's been an exhibition from him so far. And it's rebuilding time now for the rest of the world. It's all going so well for the rest of the world. 54 for none. And then Ajmal entered the fray. Can't think of two more contrasting cricketers than Yuvraj Singh and Paul Collingwood. Yuvraj Singh with that massive high backlift, trying to hit everything for 4. Good through the offside. Paul Collingwood, low backlift, punching it around, mainly leg side player.
Good solid block from Collie. 2 runs from the over, 70 for 5. A few years back, good memories for Paul Collingwood, 93 miles an hour. He's not quite got that pace out today, but beaten for pace there, Paul Collingwood. Quickest bowlers, wasn't he, of his generation, I'd say. I mean, think of Shoaib Akhtar, probably up there, Brett Lee.
Yeah, frightening to face. Very awkward action as well, just couldn't pick him up. And with a new ball, Sean Tate used to get a bit of swing as well, so a bit of in-swing to the left-hander at 95 miles an hour. Not pleasant.
Well, he's carrying on. Tendulkar said, no, we're doing well, we're going to continue to do well. Ajmal's going to stay on.
No room for sentiment in the game of cricket. When you get on top, you nail them. Give him nothing. He'll be keen to get one over Shane Warne as well.
What did you think at the toss? Do you think it was a wise decision? Shane Warne, yeah, we don't think it's perhaps at its flattest, but we'll have a bat first. Very old Australian, wasn't it?
Well, that is the Aussie way, isn't it? One look at the wicket and then choose to bat. Just wonder whether he thought with himself and Muralitharan in the side, he'd fancy batting second. Bowling second, sorry. Get that ball, the wicket a little bit drier, get rid of that green tinge.
Really happen in a 50-over game? Wicket change that much over 50 overs? I don't think so.
Wide.
No, not a lot, but with a wet outfield, I suppose. And, well, I mean, not that Ajmal's struggling to grip the ball. As you say, it's the Australian way. Bat first, get a score on the board.
Oh, like that. Good side, good side.
We always talk about England players struggling against the mystery spin. This is what's so fascinating about this game, seeing some of the subcontinental players playing Ajmal.
Yeah, just content, I'd say, at this stage. Difficult to second guess Yuvraj, just to try and play out this over. So much time left in the game. It's that pace again you were talking about.
Every ball comes out a little bit differently, regardless of which way it's spinning. Different trajectory, different pace. That's turned against the slope. I think the left-handers, they're so worried about that LBW as well. Makes it doubly difficult.
I think he picked that. I think he picked the one that went the other way. So good signs for Yuvraj. 14 gone, 74 for 5. So the rest of the world in a precarious position, 74 for 5, thanks to Syed Ajmal, 4 overs 4 for 9. Change up here, Michael Atherton, Charles Colville.
Oh, lucky moment. Yuvraj jamming down on that Yorker and getting a bit of an inside edge. Sean Tate working up ahead of steam. Michael, it's not going quite according to plan, is it, at the moment?
Depends. Going according to Syed Ajmal's plan.
Yeah,
Quick game's a good game.
But a lot of people have paid money to watch Tendulkar and Lara bat. And they ain't going to at the moment.
Brigadier block will get them out of trouble. Made for Colley, this 75 for 5. Dig in. Absolutely made for him. All these stars on show, and suddenly all Collingwood will come to the rescue. Some lovely bowling though from Ajmal, and a couple of beautiful stumpings as well from Chris Reed, particularly the one to get rid of Gilchrist. I thought that was a really smart bit of work.
It'll be a wide.
Yeah, so the best stuff today coming from those still playing. Chris Reed for Notts and Syed Ajmal, Worcestershire and Pakistan. Just turning it enough.
Well, I guess there's no surprise that Syed Ajmal, who is still very much a current player, should be the one causing all the problems, because it must be very difficult to come out of retirement and face him.
Have a look at this bit of magic. Firstly from Syed Ajmal, the Doosra, and then from Chris Reed. Reads it and does well because the ball kicked up with that overspin. Sure, Adam Gilchrist, when he has a moment to reflect on it, will reflect on a really nice bit of wicket keeping from a fellow wicket keeper.
Today all about the 200th anniversary of cricket being played on this famous site. Talked a lot about good memories of this ground. I would think, Michael, you must have some mixed memories of playing at Lord's. Your famous attempt to get to your only Test match 100 here, ending in a bit of ignominy as you ended up on all fours, crawling back down the pitch to try and make your ground after who was it? Gat ran you out?
Who's rattled your cage? Where's all that come from? I'm sat here pleasantly commentating on a nice game out there, and suddenly you've got to dredge up some memories.
Well, there's a dark side and a light side to every occasion. Shot.
Did well to land his feet somewhere near the popping crease there, Sean Tate, because he completely lost his run up mid-stride, midway through his approach to the crease. He just starts a horrible little stutter just there. And then gathers himself okay. How many runs you get here anyway?
Well, that's completely and utterly irrelevant, as you well know. 15 overs gone, 81 for 5. And we're going to have a drink.
England cricket and Hardies, generations of devotion.
Oh, really?
So 81 for 5, the rest of the world then, in this special bicentenary game to commemorate the founding of Lord's Cricket Ground. Here are the 5 that have gone so far. Brett Lee having taken some early punishment from the bespectable Virender Sehwag. And then it's been over to Saeed Ajmal, who's billed absolutely beautifully. Tamin Iqbal was a bit unlucky getting an inside edge on that one. Ian Gould didn't spot it. Kevin Peterson was done like a complete kipper. And this was the end of Shahid Afridi. Pakistani off-spinner bowling Pakistani all-rounder. So 5 down, 81 for 5. And it means that Yuvraj and Collingwood have got an awful lot of work to do to get the rest of the world up to something that they might be able to defend. And you have to say that this is it. This is the pair that have to do it.
Yes, just looking at the tail end there, there's not a lot more to come, is there? I wonder whether that's why Sachin Tendulkar has had to take Saeed Ajmal out of the attack.
Well, I wonder
He's
whether
ruining the day.
I wonder whether John Stevenson, who's sort of in charge of the day, got a message out at drink saying, for goodness sake, Sachin, get him off. Not, of course, that life's going to be any easier with Daniel Vettori coming into the attack again.
Slightly easier. I think most players would take. As fine a bowler as he is, Daniel Vettori, they'd take Vettori over Ajmal.
Now we have our first casualty of the day. Jordan Price is the sub-fielder on for Umar Gull, who's gone in the fetlock and is unlikely to field again, we hear. So all of a sudden, the MCC side are a bowler down.
And I'm just looking, who can make up the shortfall?
It'll have to be Sachin.
Finch, Tendulkar, Dravid, Lara, Chanda, Paul. Who bowls the best out of that lot?
It'll have to be Sachin. That's what the world wants to see anyway. The master.
Oh, great change, mate.
Mind you, he may think that if he can get another wicket, he gets Saeed Ajmal on, and he won't have to find another few overs.
Like that. It's over.
16 overs gone, 82 for 5. Those figures of Ajmal are extraordinary. 4 for 9. It'll be Tate to continue from the pavilion end, starting his 5th over. He's been relatively expensive, 0 for 32, but that's kind of the way of the world with Shaun Tate. You get express pace, but you also get some stuff which can be put away because it's not necessarily always online. Right now, the rest of the world need all the runs they can get at 82 for 5. Your first memory of this ground? You remember the first game you played here? Would it have been for Lancashire, or did you play a Young England game or something like that?
National Association of Young Cricketers. Against MCC schools or something like that. But a schoolboy game is always a great thrill, of course, to play here anytime. But I think I was 16 or 17 when I played here for the first time, so it was a wonderful day.
And were you aware when you turned up here, did you sort of drink up the atmosphere of the ground? I mean, I can't believe it was necessarily full for this great occasion, but were you aware of all the history and all of that stuff? Did that sort of overpower you?
Not really, no. I don't think I'd ever been here before. Fairly certain I'd never been here before. I never came to watch Lancashire play in a cup final. I'd never been to a test match here. So it was the first day I'd ever been here. No, I came to play the game. Think that maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think people made like the fuss that is made of playing here now for some reason. I mean, you know, the last few years with greater branding and just more of a fuss made of playing at Lord's now. Games like this. I played in a game similar to this actually, the Princess of Wales Memorial match, which would have been around about 1996, 97. MCC Rest of the World.
Worked away, it'll fly down to the boundary for 4. That's Tate for you.
Yes, he's shaking his head. The runs have come mainly from Shaun Tate. He's into his 5th over. He's gone for 36 of those 86 runs that the rest of the world have got. Just sliding it down the leg side.
So when did you realise that this was a special place? If the schoolboy Atherton just sort of turned up for a game of cricket, didn't really take too much notice of the history and the atmosphere of the place. Well, he's got high in the air and it's going to fall safely down there to one of the men out there in the leg side. One would will keep the strike, 87 for 5.
So I might be wrong, but I can't remember the first time that I came here that the honours boards were up in the changing room. I might be wrong, but I reckon they're a relatively recent phenomenon. And when I was saying they've made more of the brand of Lords over the last few years, you know, the great paintings that have been taken of all the great cricketers of the day, which are dotted around the pavilion at the moment. I was here last night doing a talk, and the long room is fantastic. And all through the staircases you've got the magnificent portraits of Lara's there, McGrath, Viv Richards. They've definitely made an effort to build up the history of this ground and what it means to cricket and to the players, and I think the players coming here now got more of a sense of that. It's a more welcoming place for a start. Used to just not let you in occasionally, the stewards.
Vittori continuing from the nursery end. Yeah, it is interesting if you go into the pavilion, which is not the original pavilion, by the way. That wasn't built in 1814. This is, I think, the third pavilion which has stood on this ground. But they have, in recent years, certainly changed the portraits. And in the old days, it used to just be the famous old sort of pictures of cricket from yesteryear. But certainly this season, since I've been in, there's a lot more of the Inzamans and the Vivs and the Brian Laras that are there. The fantastic modern portraits of the modern generation of greats, if you like. They've made a conscious decision to move the pictures around. But it's interesting, rather leisurely two taken there, that in your day as captain, England had a pretty poor record here at Lord's. You were quite often outgunned by the visitors, who were inspired by the place, and England seemed to be almost cowed by it. Sweat for a single. 6 from the over, 18 gone, 93 for 5. New bowler into the attack. We had discounted Aaron Finch's potential as a purveyor of, it looks like it's going to be left arm spin, is it? Yuvraj on strike. 93 for 5 after 18. Bit of a recovery underway. Well, I think he's going to get. Is he? No, he's not going to get forfeit, I don't think. Or will he? Yes, he is. Pedestrian fielding all round there.
Yeah, he was shaping to slog sweet, wasn't he, Paul Collingwood? And then he realised that the ball was actually a little full. He just had to adjust his shot. Ball almost got under that sweep, but he did well in the end.
Oh, that's a really good shot by Yuvraj. It was a bit of a pie, in all honesty, from Finch, but it's been put away absolutely brilliantly. Decent over that for the rest of the world. 10 from it, 103 for 5. First 50 rattled up. That was when Sehwag and Gilchrist were giving the rest of the world a decent enough start. Then everything, of course, has fallen apart since then. Syed Ajmal's had a lot to do with it. Oh, he's going to have to get a move on here, is he? Everybody's safely home. So when you were captain of England, Michael, did you find the Lord's effect had a detrimental effect on your side compared to the opposition?
It's a nice theory. I mean, we had I suppose, a modest record. But, you know, I think it's just a more straightforward explanation, actually, that in those years in the 90s, Australia were a better side than us, therefore tended to beat us here. West Indies were generally a stronger side than us, as were, well, South Africa would give a good account of ourselves against, and particularly West Indies and Australia, we played a lot. So I'm not so sure about the theory. It's a nice theory, but I think it's a more straightforward explanation, actually. England had a poor record against Australia for a long, long time here, until 2009.
Yeah, that 2009 win, that was their first win since, I think, before the war. 20 overs gone, 106 for 5. I think the last time they had beaten Australia at Lord's before that 2009 victory was way back when Headley Verity took a load of wickets. I'm just trying to remember. 1934, Richard Isaacs is telling me. Yuvraj and Collingwood have just got to progress this partnership.
Yes, I'm not sure entirely this is what the crowd came to see. Finch bowling at Collingwood. Have to do for the moment.
Oh, Finchy, that's lovely, mate.
Just 2 singles from the over, 21 gone, 108 for 5. Spin continuing then from the nursery end in the guise of Daniel Vettori. But a change in the commentary box as Nick Knight joins Paula.
Thanks, Charles. Not sure it was meant to be quite this much hard work. The rest of the world side, 108 for 5. A slump in the early part of the innings after going so well initially. Flurry of wickets from Ajmal has set the rest of the world back.
Oh, yeah, good boy.
Partnership of 40 and 60 balls between Yuvraj and Collingwood. Just mending things slightly, Nick.
There's a neutral here. Just hoping they can get to around 250 so we can see a good run chase. Ajmal's only bowled a handful of overs, so he's got plenty left. Just a little bit of turn there. Perhaps that's why Shane Warne wanted to be bowling last.
Nicely bowled by Daniel Vettori. Maybe a little bit of help from the right arm bowler's footmarks. Haven't had a maiden yet. And we still haven't. 22 gone, 109 for 5.
So look at this last ball. This, I think, is why Vettori has been one of the better bowlers of his generation there. Just see having to hold back the shot in the end. His control of line and pace is exceptional. There you see him wanting to hit the ball. In the end, the ball's just not quite there. Never a really big turn of the ball. We've seen 1 or 2 turn, but probably just sums up Daniel Vettori's career, that particular delivery.
Full toss and hammered away into the grandstand for 6.
Well, a little bit of light relief really for the spectators and for Yuvraj, who's just been waiting for anything slightly offline.
Clubbed away on the leg side again in the vacant mid-wicket area. So 4 to Yuvraj, helping himself to the part-time spin of Aaron Finch. 50 partnership then, 51 in 65 balls they've put on these two.
Oh, nice change. Yeah. Good, Sadie.
In a way, Paul Collingwood the perfect foil for Yuvraj. Yuvraj can start to open his shoulders a little against this bowling, and Paul Collingwood can play his normal game.
Yeah.
13 from that over, 122 for 5. Couple of well-hit boundaries in that over. Full toss on leg stump to Yuvraj, asking to be hit, and it got what it deserved. And then the next ball, fraction short.
Much a part-time bowler, isn't he, Aaron Finch? A couple of Yorkshire games this year, but both of us have, and he's yet to bowl in the games that I've done. So much a part-time bowler.
And he's never played here before, Aaron Finch. In any form of the game. You'd have played here a considerable number of times, Nick. Have pleasant memories of the place?
What are you leading to?
Well, I'm asking you about your memories. Come on.
I like most batsmen love played here, like most players love playing here.
Did you ever get affected or think about the slope?
A lot in my early days, yeah. Very concerned. I was a left-hander that often fell across the crease, and that get exaggerated on the slope.
So when you're batting at the nursery end, you'd be falling down the hill, would you?
Falling down the hill. Worried about the LBW, and then worried about playing at the one too far outside the off stump, following the ball. So it just takes a little while to get used to.
8 feet of slope from right to left as you look at your screen now. Adventurous and rewarded with a 6. Yuvraj starting to entertain the crowd.
Yeah, just starting to up the tempo. Fancies the spin of Aaron Finch and beginning to fancy the spin now of Vettori. Good use of the feet in the end, swept away almost off that front foot there, finding the mid-wicket boundary. It's exactly what Yuvraj needs.
Good bowling, I like it. After being hit for 6 over mid-wicket, many a younger bowler would fire it in. This is the 6. The next ball tossed even higher by Vettori. Come on, try and hit me again. Resisted. There's the flatter ball. That'll be chopped away. Might not go for 4 up the hill. Three more. As Ronald Dravid chases it to the boundary. Gentle little push from Collingwood for a single. Brian Lara with moderately nifty footwork. Bent down for that one. 134 for 5. 25 from the last 2 overs, a flurry of runs. Extraordinary that the most famous ground, arguably the best ground in the world, has a slope on it so pronounced. Adds to its idiosyncrasies. I can't think of another ground that slopes sideways like this in world cricket, can you?
My memories of Canterbury. Canterbury's got a slope as well.
Yeah, all right.
International
grounds.
Okay,
then. Yeah, I mean Headingley's up and down, but you run up the hill or down the hill. Never across, I don't think. Another full toss and another fulsome stroke down the ground.
Well, determined not to miss out. Extra over for Finch could so easily have taken him out of the attack. a juicy full toss.
Sweep that through Reed's legs behind the stumps. It's a wide. Not halfway through this innings yet. .50 for Yuvraj. Greeted with a cheer.
50 at nearly a run of ball, 53 balls. It's beginning to tick now. And they are mighty pleased. Got in a spot of bother at 68 for 5, but this partnership is very fruitful. 72 thanks to Yuvraj, really. Enjoyed the spin of Finch, enjoyed the spin of Vittori. Now then, can they get to 250 plus? I wonder what his short-term future will be, whether we'll see him for the one-day series. England, of course, got 5 matches after the Test match series against India. Wonder if Yuvraj is in their plans for that.
Well, he had an absolute nightmare in the World T20 final, didn't he, in Dhaka earlier this year. He just couldn't hit the ball, and if he did, he couldn't get it off the square. So maybe that's put a question mark in the Indian selectors' minds about Yuvraj and his future in international cricket. .142 for 5. He's beginning to entertain here, though. He's gone to his half century from just 54 balls, 4 fours, 2 sixes. And he's had to dig in after that flurry of wickets in the earlier part of the innings. To find the boundary, couple of big sixes, one off Finch and a better one off Vittori. Swung away going towards the tavern. Plenty of time left for him to entertain. Yuvraj innings in that World 2020, 11 off 20 balls. What you want, is it?
Oh, bowling dance.
Not ideal, but maybe I'm a bit biased. I've seen perhaps the best of him when I played. What is he now? 32 years of age, so perhaps should be in his best years, but so destructive. Offers a left arm spin option as well, which is useful. I remember him back in, gosh, what was it, early 2000, when he partnered up with Mohammed Kaif, a game that we played here. I think we got 325, and it was the first time really any of us had seen Yuvraj. Yuvraj took them to victory. It was certainly the start of my memories of Yuvraj. Seeing Mohammed Kaif hasn't quite kicked on, has he, in the same way, but prodigious talent for sure.
Yeah, one of the more memorable one-day internationals played on this ground. India chasing over 300 to win, and did. You were playing.
Yeah, I was playing. I remember being at half-time, thinking that's plenty. And then we got Tendulkar out. Well, I think we were about 140 for 5. Tendulkar out. I think Ashley Giles got him out, stumped or bowled, and that was it. I think we all felt that was game over.
26 gone now, 145 for 5. That was the famous Nasser Hussain game when he pointed at his bat, didn't it, number 3.
Yeah.
Taking umbrage at various members of the media, suggesting that he shouldn't be batting at number 3.
That was also the game where Sourav Ganguly took his shirt off on that balcony there when they won. I think that was memory of Andrew Flintoff doing exactly the same thing years earlier. There was a bit of needle around
Brett Lee bowled 4 overs with a new ball, coming back now. 4 overs, 1 for 21 so far. You know, this is always a tester when you've not been playing an awful lot of cricket. Coming back, bowling your second spell.
And they'll try him out with the short ball, so Sean Tate did in the earlier spell.
Well, that's a good comeback from Brett Lee. Still looking fit and lean. What a wicket earlier. Virender Sehwag, bowled through the gate. Good ball, full ball that just nicked back between bat and pad.
Wonderful bowler in his pomp, wasn't he? Think of the partnership that he forged with Glenn McGrath, and playing against him over the years. McGrath, you'd have to work incredibly hard to get any runs off at all. He was miserly. With the extra pace, particularly early on in his career, you would have runs or run scoring options from Brett Lee, but he obviously had the ability to knock you over. He used to swing it as well, swing it back into the left-hander, and has that type of action which you'll see now that a batsman gets a good view of, presents the ball.
Yeah, 76 test matches, over 300 wickets, 310 wickets for Brett Lee. It's a very useful record. His average of 30 is not the lowest.
Yeah, things you're looking for here, the ball. He presents the ball early, and then you get a good view of the ball. As a batsman, that's what you're looking for. Think of Sean Tate earlier with a slinging action, very difficult to find the ball. Same you'd say of Shoaib Akhtar, perhaps in that same era. Very slingy action, so what you're looking for here is to find the ball as early as you can, see the release. Very classic action. Alan Donald was the same. Alan Donald had a huge amount of pace and raw talent, but gave you a good presentation of the ball.
Does that make it easier?
Yeah, just a little bit easier to see the release, because as a batsman you're looking for the release. It was interesting that Ricky Ponting did a masterclass with, which we've shown on Sky, and he said he looked at 3 points during the run-up. At the start he looks for the ball, at the middle point of the run-up he looks for the ball, and then obviously at the release point he's looking for the ball.
Some tricky bowlers then that I can think of, starting with Jeff Thompson.
Yeah, exactly the point, that slingy action. Brian Lara, I think, has said that Wasim Akram was the toughest bowler he faced, and in many ways the same thing. Well, with that slingy action, very quick arm.
He used to cover the ball as well.
Yeah,
but he had an incredibly quick arm. It wasn't, and you didn't just know what he was going to do with it either. You couldn't pick it up. Didn't know whether he had the ability to swing the ball both ways. You tend to know what you're going to get with Brett Lee. 146 for 5. When he swung the ball away and he bowled short and aggressively.
But it also helped him partnership with Glenn McGrath, because if he was perhaps a little bit expensive early on in his career, McGrath, who was so miserly at the other end, so the partnership worked well. They just look after themselves, those numbers, don't they? 380 ODI wickets, 310 test match wickets. Testament to his ability and to his fitness, really.
It's a great return in tests, 310 in 76. It's an excellent record. And if he, so what if he went for a few runs, he would take your wickets. Come back well there, that 5th over, and he's out of his allotted 10.
And a nice guy too, Brett Lee. Really nice guy. Whatever the situation of the match or the game, he'd always have a beer after the game. He'd always be happy to chat, as many of the Australians were actually. Talk about the game.
Loves his music as well. I remember a big sing-song at the hotel in Perth going back. You might have been on the tour, Nick, going back a while. End of the 90s.
I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't have been singing.
No, but I think you might have been there, humming. Missed time by Collingwood.
Wide.
Wide, way down the leg side. So that'll go down as 5. Spoiled the over, that, Daniel. .28 gone, 153 for 5. .153 for 5, then 28 gone. Change up here in the commentary box. Michael Atherton is with Andrew Strauss.
Thank you, Paul. Oh, we've got troubles here. Mix up, trouble. Oh, he got away with it, Collingwood. Something lost in translation between these two. Both of them stranded right in the middle of the pitch. Jordan Price, the substitute fielder, the poor throw, and Collingwood gets away with it just as well. It's been a good recovery from these two. Partnership now up to 86 off 104 balls. Collingwood's come to the rescue of the rest of the world. Yuvraj Singh's played really well, actually. Positive. He had a little bit of fortune that he's faced a fair amount of Aaron Finch, who was brought into the attack by Sachin Tendulkar. Not sure that was a genuine tactical decision by Sachin, do you think, Athers?
Perfect decision. Bring him on, give away some runs, make a game of it. At 68 for 5, it was looking a bit grim.
Lovely cover drive for none. Lovely player to watch, Yuvraj Singh, when he's in full flow. He's always vulnerable early with that massive high backlift of his, but no one hits the ball harder through the offside than Singh. Maybe that man, actually. He would be the only other man that could hit it through the offside with that sort of pace. Again, Brian Lara with a big high backlift, wristy player. Lower ball by Lee. Pulled away for a single. Yeah, just having a look here. Big back lift. That makes it easy to play that pull shot as well. You can get on top of the ball and hit down on it. Oh, well bowled. Well bowled and well run by Paul Collingwood. End of the over, 3 runs off it. 156 for 5. That was Brett Lee at his best in his pomp, bowling those at 90 miles an hour plus. That particular delivery was 76 miles an hour, so a little bit short of the full gallop. Wonder when we're going to see more of Ajmal, those 4 wickets. Phenomenal from him. 5 overs, 4 for 9.
Of the 4 spinners on show today, Vettori, Ajmal, Warne and Murrell, you played against all 4. Which of those on a turning pitch would you least like to face?
Well, there's not a particularly noted player with spin. All 4 of them would have been a challenge. I think, for me personally, Shane Warne was the biggest challenge. As a left-hander out the rough, bowling round the wicket. Nightmare. I think Shane Warne got me out 8 times in 10 matches, so he used to call me Darryl. Gonna get you out, Darryl, after Darryl Cullinan. Don't think he was saying it in a complimentary manner. Well played. Soft hands from Yuvraj.
Ajmal and Murrelly. Ajmal would bowl it quicker than Murrelly, generally.
Yeah, much quicker, and for me personally, much harder to read as well, because that doosra comes off his fingers, not a case of getting his wrist round. Murrelly, you could see the kind of the back of his wrist. If you could see the back of his wrist, you knew it was a doosra. Ajmal was all in the fingers. End of the over. 158 for 5. Ajmal's been phenomenal today. Being a class apart, I suppose the fact that he's playing regularly as well, Athers, makes a big difference. Some of these other guys, it's hard for them to get back in the rhythm of bowling.
That's why there'll never be a kind of Masters tournament in the same way that there's a golf tournament. You know, the old boys in golf can play on in a professional capacity, but in cricket, when you've gone, really. Still back in it. Over 300 yards, these old golfers, aren't they? With improvements in technology and the pieces of the woods and the drivers that they can use now.
Yeah, and I suppose with golf, there are many different ways of playing it. You don't have to be hitting it as far. It's all about touch. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see Lara play in particular. He's been retired for 7 years now. Such a genius. And much of the old magic still there.
He wants to do well. Saw him the other day, had a long chat with him on Thursday. And he's been netting assiduously and he really wants to put on a show. Might not get in. I suppose he'll come in at... It'll either be Dravid 3, Lara 4, or Lara 3, Dravid 4. But you're right. What age was Tom Watson when he nearly won the British Open? He was
In his 50s.
50?
Yeah, more, 55 maybe. Greg Norman had a run at the top of the leaderboard in the Open as well, a couple of years back. Tom Watson was 59. Extraordinary. But then Jack Hobbs got 100 hundreds after the age of 40, Athers. So it is possible.
Well, Brian Lara's 45. That was the age Colin Cowdery was flown out, wasn't he, in the 1975 series to play Test match at Perth against Lillian Thompson when he was still playing cricket. Lara, as you say, hasn't played properly for 7 years, but it's amazing to think that Cowdery went out and played against Lillian Thompson at 45, 46.
Good shot, well fielded. You often hear that expression, his eyes have gone, when you hear about an old cricketer. Whether that is strictly true or not, I don't know. Maybe some older cricketers get a bit gun shy, don't like the short ball as much anymore, but have been some examples of batsmen that have gone on. Mark Radbrikash kept playing for Surrey into his 40s. Murray Goodwin still playing at the age of 41. Did you feel at the back end of your career like that your reactions were slowing at all?
Like that most of the way through. Well, I finished early, actually, 33 when I retired. For reasons other than the eyes had gone, the back had gone. But I guess it's a confidence thing as well. When you're aging or getting on and you suddenly start to have a couple of bad games, you start to doubt yourself, I guess.
Oh, good shot.
I remember a game Alex Stewart played, 160 for 5. I remember a game Alex Stewart played at Edgbaston in 1999, and he missed a full toss in the first innings and then missed a straight ball in the second, and everybody said his eyes had gone. He played for another 4 or 5 years for England after that.
I think the thing for me was am I going to get any better? Got to a stage where I felt like I was on a gradual decline. And that's not a good feeling to have as a Test cricketer. You want to feel sharp, you want to feel like you're still improving.
The other question is what to do when you've stopped playing. Quite a few players have said, never pick up a bat again. Sir Ian Botham has never picked up a bat. Alex Stewart has never picked up a bat. Jeffrey Boycott never picked up a bat. But for others, they just love the game. Derek Randall continued to play on and on and on. Club cricket way into his 50s. Obviously the players out there today happy enough to have a go. Sachin Tendulkar 8 months after retirement. Brian Lara 45 years of age. Each to their own, I guess, and if you do love the game and you want to keep on playing club cricket, great.
Oh, he's gone big, he's gone long, it's gone a long way.
Yeah, it's a lovely languid swing of the blade really from Yuvraj Singh. High back lift that we've mentioned, he gets down into position early and then just swings it away languidly into the mound stand.
That single brings up the 100 partnership between Yuvraj and Collingwood. Yuvraj has scored the lion's share. As you say, it's no real effort involved, and when he hits it in the middle, no ground in world cricket is big enough. Stuart Broad knows that. Those 6 sixes he hit in an over off Broad in Durban. Been a good partnership between these two. The perfect foil, Paul Collingwood, for Yuvraj Singh. Plenty of singles, getting back on strike. End of the over, 169 for 5. So Daniel Vittori is bowled out. He's bowled his 10 overs for 47. Sean Tate to continue. 6 overs for 39 for him. Tate got panned early by Gilchrist. You're talking about batsmen losing it as they get older. Gilchrist looking good touch, didn't he?
He did. He looked in great touch. Have you played, Andrew, since you stopped?
The odd charity game. Yeah, I don't subscribe to that point of view that you just never pick up a bat again. And the games I have played, I've enjoyed, but I don't like the idea of any sort of expectation that you're turning out for a side and you've got to win them a game. I've kind of had enough of that.
So you play for the corporate dollar, do you?
Well, I said charity matches, Athers.
Turning out tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah, there is a game tomorrow at Lord's, actually on the main square as well.
Corporate day?
Yeah, JP Morgan, one of the main sponsors of the ground. They sponsor the media centre. They're having a big day here. Should be a lot of fun. Families coming. A lot of the players playing here today will be there, actually. Oh, inside Nick. That run away for 4. Shivnai Chanderpaul's gingerly made his way over to the ball. What about you, Athers? Have you warmed that back up and had a couple of hits?
Once or twice. I was half thinking of having a go for the club 5th 11 this year with the lad. Father's son's team, the 5ths. So if I can find a Saturday, free Saturday, I'll have a do for the 5ths. Afraid that's about the level of it.
Nicely played again by Yuvraj. It's the end of the 33rd over, 172 for 5. Your son hits him pretty well. I've heard he's a bit more of a stroke maker than his dad. Is that true?
Just to play some shots. Wouldn't be difficult, I guess. He's enjoying it, which is the key thing. Rahul Dravid this morning, the only player who went to the nets. I reckon if you'd have had a bet on the one player to do that, Dravid would have been right up there. Now then, what will this bring? Earlier in the day it brought 4 overs, 4 for 9. Befuddled and bemused whole series of batsmen bowling from this end, the nursery end, a combination of off spinners and doosras. Oh, fortunate with one dismissal, Tamim Iqbal, who had an inside edge, but the others all got out.
Dog sweep, it's up in the air, it should be taken. Oh no, it's been dropped. Jordan Price, the substitute fielder, has dropped a sitter.
Well, it's a bad moment for young Jordan Price. Saeed Ajmal's got a smile on his face. I don't think he's too concerned about it, even though that would have given him a 5th wicket. But Jordan Price will feel badly because it was an absolutely straightforward chance, really, and just made an almighty mess of it.
Just never set himself, did he? Oh, was there an edge on that?
Don't know. It's the bounce, isn't it? We saw that. The delivery he got Adam Gilchrist out with. Gets that overspin on the ball and really kicks up and bounces. Might have been a little tickle there. Chris Reed, who's kept immaculately throughout the day. Puts one down.
Saying earlier about how England players can sometimes get themselves in a muddle against spinners of the quality. Oh, there's overthrows here, buzzers. Pick up a couple more. It's really interesting to see someone like Yuvraj Singh trying to counteract Saeed Ajmal. See how he does it differently. Yuvraj, a very good player of spin. Sweeps well and can drive through the covers exceptionally well also, but no one's got on top of Ajmal so far. 4 for 13 for him. That was a good example of the English way from Paul Collingwood, watching it suspiciously, trying to see it turn off the pitch. Well played by Collingwood. That was the one that beat Yuvraj Singh. I'm not sure there was an edge, actually. Another good over from Ajmal. 177 for 5. An important partnership between these two. Partnership of 109 between Yuvraj Singh and Collingwood. One stage we're looking at an early finish, weren't we? Might not have even seen the likes of Lara play. You were asking me earlier about the spinners that I faced. I mean, you would have faced a lot of Warne and Muralitharan. What about the two of those two?
Yeah, it's interesting. I always say that Murali had a kind of freakish genius. As Yuvraj steers this away down to 3rd man. Murali's got a freakish genius, but Warne had a better cricketing brain and bowling brain. And it's interesting, I asked Brian Lara that same question on Thursday when I spoke to him. He thought the same, that he found it harder at the start against Murali just because of the amount of spin and the pace with which Murali bowled. But eventually he felt he could get on top of Murali in a way that he couldn't with Warne, because Warne had more questions to ask of him throughout the innings, because he was a bit smarter. When I mean smarter, I mean kind of cricket smart. But there's no doubt that Morley had that kind of freakish genius, the ability to spin the ball miles and send it both ways with a flick of the wrist.
I remember asking Brian Lara once about how to play Shane Warne when I was struggling against Warne. I said to him, you know, well, how do you look to play Shane Warne? You've got such a good record against him. He said, I just look to hit him. I said, where do you look to hit him? And he went, everywhere.
Well, his 5th Test match, he got 277, didn't he, at Sydney, 1993, I think. And although he got much bigger scores after that, 400, 375, that 277 in terms of the purity of his stroke play and the quality of his stroke play would have been as good as anything. And he was a brilliant player of spin. Said that just used to tape up a tennis ball and in the backyard with his brothers and kind of flick it out the fingers, and that's where he learned to play spin, really. He was in Barbados on the beach. They'd use a tape ball on the edge of the water and kind of be pace predominant. In Trinidad it was all about playing spin and the ball spinning.
He had brilliant hands, didn't he? I think that was the key to him. He could get a long way down and hit the ball against the spin. I mean, he was brilliant hitting it through the covers against the spin. Swept well, manoeuvred the strike. Oh, that's gone up in the air. This should be out. Who's under it? Well, no one's under it.
There was a long look there between Brian Lara and I think it's Aaron Finch, isn't it, at backward point. The ball went straight up in the air. Lara looked at Finch. Finch looked at Lara. In the end, Lara reluctantly went after it. But I don't think he felt it was his catch.
End of the over. 35 overs gone. 184 for 5, and it's time for a drink.
England Cricket and Hardies, generations of devotion.
Welcome back to Lord's, where this bicentenary match celebrating 200 years of cricket on this famous old ground sees the rest of the world on 184 for 5 with 15 overs to go. And really the story has all been about Yuvraj Singh, who's 75 not out off 85 balls, 4 fours, 3 sixes. He came to the crease with the side in a certain amount of bother, and certainly at 68 for 5 when Syed Ajmal was creating complete and utter havoc. Things were looking a bit grim for the rest of the world, but Yuvraj, in partnership with Collingwood, who's on 33, have rescued the situation. They've put on 116, and they are now just starting to get up to the realms of respectability. Nick Knight is with me here in the commentary box, and the rest of the world must be thinking, if we can just keep Syed Ajmal out for a little bit longer. There are 4 overs of make-up bowlers for the injured Umar Gul.
Yeah, Finch presumably will bowl, or perhaps all of them. He's the 6th bowler. Sachin Tendulkar's bowling prowess is like these days, but he used to be an option, didn't he, for India. But it looks like it might be Finch, so Finch will have to come back into the attack at some point.
Well, we now have a power play, and it's really a compulsory power play because we're playing this game under almost complete one-day international rules. There's only 1 ball being used per innings. It's a red ball because obviously the players are playing this in whites. They're not the 2 white balls. So we're into the second power play, and this is the batting power play.
And what'll be interesting to see how they approach this, because it's a power play where they feel they need to hit boundaries, or because it's Ajmal, they just need to knock him around. I'd say perhaps we might see a different approach from Yuvraj and Collingwood, but Yuvraj is such a good player of spin. This is a good battle. An indication that Ajmal is right on top of his game, because you have to have 5 men inside the circle, where you can see there that there are 6. So confidence from Ajmal. He can have one of those fielders out on the boundary, but he feels he's on top of his game. And that, I guess, will make it slightly more difficult to rotate the strike. Not easy to get it through the offside with all those men up on 1. Could so easily have one of those men back at the point boundary.
Syed Ajmal's figures outstanding. 4 for 14 so far. He should have had 5 because in his last over he had 2 catches dropped off successive deliveries. But that just shows how well Yuvraj is playing. Swats that away for 4.
It's good, and it's what all the best players do. Anything shy, slightly short, and he seizes upon it there. Footwork is excellent, isn't it? Nearly shreds on his stumps, but you can see how deep he gets in the crease there, using all the crease.
Yuvraj on to 79. Very much yesterday's man. Yuvraj, in as far as Test match cricket is concerned for India, might yet make an appearance in the one-day squad later on in the summer for India. Should be 2 here. Seven off that over. How many more has Syed Ajmal got to bowl? 4 to go. Sachin has got to make some decisions. Who is going to make up those 4 overs that Umar Gal is not going to bowl? Will he go back to Finch, who's already bowled 4 overs for 33, or will he try somebody else? Will he have a bowl? Will he roll back the years? There's a very famous game in a competition called the Hero Cup semi-final against South Africa, where South Africa needed 6 to win off the last over. None of the great Indian bowlers, Kapil Dev was playing, none of them fancied it. Sachin, who was a youngster in those days, seized the ball and said, "Give it to me," and he defended 6, won the game. Hear more about that in our 1 in a Billion series coming up later on in the summer, in this episode about the one-day king. This is Brett Lee from the pavilion end.
You've been beavering away, haven't you, doing your research and interviewing various people about Sachin that you're going to show. Have you enjoyed doing that?
Been fascinating, yeah. The series gives as much enjoyment to people watching it as it has been fun making it. 4 episodes. The one-day king. The boy wonder is the first one, of course, those early years. Spoke to Wakar about bowling at him in his first ever test match.
Without giving too much away, is there anything that surprised you?
I don't think so, but there are some great stories in there. So the story of the Hero Cup. We went and interviewed Alan Donald for that, who was the batsman who couldn't lay bat on ball. Episode 1 is the boy wonder, episode 2 the one-day king, episode 3 the master craftsman, talking about his technique and famous duel he had with Dale Steyn in the test match in Cape Town. And the last one is the national hero, which focuses very much on his role in Indian society and the sort of level of adoration that he's held in. And in particular that 100 he scored against England in Chennai to win a test match. Over the top and away for 4 up the hill.
Up until now, just happy to give Yuvraj the strike, but going to use the batting power play. 39 now from 62. The extra pace of Brett Lee.
Right, what is Brett Lee going to? He just been smacked over extra cover by Paul Collingwood. This is England versus Australia. This is olden rivalries renewed. What's coming here? Name your ball.
One or the other. It'll either be Yorker or short ball, but different situation, of course, isn't it, in this game? Well, I went for the Yorker.
Despite the fact they've got into that terrible trouble of 68 for 5, the rest of the world have got a pretty healthy run rate here. They're bowling along at over 5 and over. Tendulkar might just fancy that he needs to get some wickets here to slow it all down.
It's a good gig, isn't it? Match manager. Sean Pollock. What do you reckon he has to do as match manager?
He's team manager. He's managing the rest of the world team.
What do you think that involves? Do you reckon any inspirational team talks? There you go. It's a good gig, I reckon.
He's got changed into his tracksuit bottoms. Tino best at the back there. We yet to see Tino have a bat. He'll be itching to get out there. Well, that's wild and woolly down the leg side. Been called a wide. Oh, that's a really good catch. Slip in. Raul Dravid has snaffled that. It's the end of Paul Collingwood. He's gone for 40.
It's a really good catch, and he doesn't drop many, Raul Dravid. It's an excellent record in the slips, and this is excellent from Dravid. It's also very good from Tendulkar to have him standing there in the first place. It's a slash from Collingwood. Yeah, it's gone quick enough. Not playing regularly these days. That's a sharp catch for Raul Dravid. Good decision to bring Brett Lee back into the attack, but a good innings from Paul Collingwood. And it's an excellent partnership with Yuvraj Singh's side. Have some hope now in this game. 40 from 64, 199 for 6.
England cricket and Hardies, generations of devotion.
Peter Siddle is the new batsman, making his way out to the middle to hook up with Yuvraj Singh. Yuvraj on 82 from 92. The rest of the world would suggest probably with, well, still a lot of overs to go here, Nick. 13 overs to go. Need Yuvraj to carry on, make 100, and get them up to 250 and beyond, because the tail is now exposed. There's an end open. Who have we got to bat? We've got Siddle out there at the moment. Then we've got Tino Best, Shane Warne and Matthias Muralitharan to come. And of course the problem is that the tail, if Yuvraj gets it wrong, are going to be exposed to the wiles of Syed Ajmal, who's got 4 overs to bowl. Got to keep Syed Ajmal out here, Yuvraj Singh.
Test match 50 to his name, Peter Siddle. So no mo, 51. 200 up. Just a slash from Collingwood, trying to get it up and over the covers. It's good from Tendulkar though to have a man in there, and it's a good cling on in the end from Dravid.
Now with the new man in, and it being Peter Siddle, all sorts of comings and going in the field. There's a slip gone in. Three in the circle on the offside, 3 in the circle on the onside. We're still in power play overs, of course. Oh. Well, Peter Siddle knew absolutely nothing about that. And defeated Chris Reed as well. 5 off the over already, single and the 4 byes. Peter Siddle's mission now has just been to block it, just keep him out. Don't try anything ambitious, Peter. Well, Yuvraj Singh has been in for 94 balls now, and he's still being troubled by the genius of Saeed Ajmal. Single to end with, 206 for 6. This match, of course, is all about 200 years of cricket on this self-same ground. 200 years ago, Thomas Lord moved his operation here from a site down in Regent's Park, or just close to it. Just trying to think, are there any other sporting venues where that sport has been played on the same spot for as long as this around the world? Where else could it be? I suppose Epsom Downs, somewhere like that for horse racing, you might say. Some of the horse racing tracks. Big bump ball. Got any other venues you can think of?
The only one that came to mind when you asked the question was Wimbledon. I'm not sure if that's...
I think 1868 the All England club was formed, so that's very baby compared to 1814. St Andrews, of course, golf. They've been playing there, I'm told, since the 15th century, so that kind of predates Lord's. This is junior compared to the course up there. Still a pretty extraordinary achievement for them to have been playing cricket on this self-same ground for 200 years. All those runs that have been scored, wickets taken, all the elation and despair which people will have felt walking on or off. Quiet over, just 4 singles from it, 210 for 6. Relieved looking man there in the MCC tie, John Stevenson. He'd have got up this morning and been really worried seeing the rain falling. But things turning out nicely at the moment. The weather is set fair and we will get through this special game, I think, without any interruptions from the weather. Well, that is the first really bad ball that Syed Ajmal has bowled. He's come round the wicket to Peter Siddle and served up a juicy long hop. And Siddle has smacked it away for 4.
Just too short. Again, an extra man up in the ring doesn't have to have. He's got 7 up with the catcher. Variation does well to get down on it through mid-wicket. Was that Lord Gow we just saw there? A glass of champagne.
Sir Tim Rice, I saw. Slip in.
His captaincy is good, isn't it, from Tendulkar? It's captaincy that perhaps other captains around the world can look at here. A slip in place. Yuvraj is on 86 from 100. Okay, he's facing Ajmal, who's bowling brilliantly, but then at the other end he's had Brett Lee operating with a slip for Yuvraj as well. I think of a lot of captains at this phase of the game don't have to have a slip in place. He's always thinking about wickets, just trying to break the partnership. It's too easy in this format of the game, I think, 50 overs, just to let the game meander.
Last ball of the power play, 32 runs from the power play so far. You can make that 36 from the power play. So an indifferent over from Syed Ajmal. Started off with a long hop, ended off with that one wide outside the leg side. Both hit for 4. His most expensive over to date. 10 overs from it. 220 for 6 with 10 to go. Well, here we go. Big cheers all around the ground. Sachin is going to have a bowl. It'll be a bit of seam, a bit of off break, a bit of leg break. It'll be everything. Setting the field with military precision. He's got to somehow or other burn 4 overs from somewhere, so he's the man in charge, so I'll do it. Big smile on his face. 154 wickets in one-day international cricket. He's by no means a mug. Quite what he'll be feeling like by Tuesday morning, though, when he's had a bowl, will be another matter altogether.
Yeah, he's looked a little bit ginger in the field, hasn't he? Getting down to 1 or 2 balls. Good to see him bowling, though, isn't it?
And good to see the respect that Yuvraj Singh is taking against him. He A is not going to get out to Sachin, so he's just helped himself a little 1 get-off strike. And B, he's not going to upset the legend by smacking him for a 4 or a 6.
They're enjoying it too. Biggest cheer, I'd say, of the day when he came on to bowl. As you say, Charles, just lots of variation. There'll be the odd slower ball, the odd quicker ball, back of the hand, off spinner, leg spinner.
Right, what's Peter Siddle going to do? Is he going to take the battle to the legend? Pretty good leg break. Can you imagine the noise if Sachin takes a wicket here? The roof, which isn't on the place, would come off it if there was. Oh! Very respectable over from Sachin. 41 gone, 223 for 6. A little bit of a chat between Sachin and Yuvraj. Sachin was chirping his former teammate.
No. Go back.
Cheeky by Siddle. Got some suggestions for long-running sporting venues. Hampton Court,
yeah.
real tennis.
From Strauss, was that?
Lots of race courses coming in of older vintage than Lord's, or its current Lord's ground.
Another great take from Chris Reed. Look at the bounce here. Good take.
He's done some brilliant things, Chris Reed, but he's also dropped a catch and let a couple of buys through which he won't be very happy with. .42 overs gone. There are 8 to go and it's 226 for 6. Eight overs to go. Sachin is going to bowl another one of them. There's great expectation at Lord's that he might pick up a wicket here. Yuvraj on strike. Yuvraj is just going to get off strike as quickly as possible and allows Siddle to deal with the menace that is the Tendulkar bowling attack. Here to tell you all about it, Andrew Strauss and Paul Allen.
Thanks, Charles. Could have been a decent all-rounder, this lad. He practiced his bowling a bit more.
I've faced him in a test match.
Nervy
tricky
time.
customer. Yeah. Bowls offies and leggies and googlies and all sorts.
Catches the cry, but it's a thump by Siddle over extra cover for 4.
Siddle's done a good job coming in here. Back end of the innings. Neither batting lineup is long, so they're relying on these kind of all-rounders, the likes of Peter Siddle, to get them up to a decent score. You'd never thought that, would you? I've just been handed a stat. Sachin Tendulkar took 201 international wickets.
Well, that's staggering, isn't it? 46 in tests and 154 in one-day internationals and a solitary one in T20s. No, I'd have said 20, probably. Just goes to show, doesn't it, as Yuvraj sweeps him for 4, getting closer to that, to 3 figures.
Well, thank goodness Yuvraj Singh has played the way he has. It's going to make this a fascinating afternoon. It's been classic Yuvraj Singh. Plenty of sweeps, plenty of shots through the offside. Timed the ball brilliantly.
Never scored 100 here, Yuvraj. Wonder if they'll open the honours boards up. I doubt it. Fine sweep, but no run. 10 off the over, 236 for 6, 7 left.
Yeah, well, traditionally, you don't get on the honours board for a one-day performance. It's all about test matches, test match fifers or 100 to get on that honours board. There was a MCC versus rest of the world test match. When was that? Early 90s, maybe?
Sachin was talking about it at the toss. I think it was late 90s, was it? That was 87. But Sachin didn't play in that.
I think that was the one time that Sachin did get his name on the honours board.
The Princess Diana Memorial game played in the 90s. The test was 1987. Sean Tate with 2 overs left of his allocation, none for 49 at the moment. Wide, says Ian Gould. It's a bit of in-swing from Tate with the old ball, the old red ball.
One at 79 miles an hour. Just imagine a ball like this at 90 plus. That's when it becomes a real toe crasher. Horrible bowler to face, Sean Tate. Slingy action, don't know where the ball's going.
More swing, difficult to pick up, is he?
Very hard to pick up, and particularly the length. Because it's so sort of sidearm, it's very hard to tell whether he's bowling a short ball or a full ball. And when it's at 95 miles an hour, you really want to know if it is short. You know, it's one of those things that you're getting ready to duck. Brilliant in a one-day game to have someone like that who can blast people out, power play overs, start the innings, get wickets cheaply. I think he's a real asset for Australia.
Yuvraj middling the ball nicely now, goes to within 4 of 100. Just 111 balls he's faced. It's a showpiece innings for the rest of the world and a showpiece occasion. Going down the leg side.
Well, Yuvraj Singh will be keen to show the Indian selectors what they're missing out on. He's not part of their test squad. That one was going down the leg side from Sean Tate. Played in the last tour over here and didn't make many runs. He got bounced out a few times, Yuvraj.
Good bowling from Tate, the in-swinging Yorker.
Yuvraj been kind of pigeonholed as a one-day specialist in recent years.
Fluent, but only a single.
Just have a look at his test stats there, averaging 33.93. You think about the likes of Dravid and Tendulkar, well into the 50s in the subcontinent. One-day stats are very strong though, averaging 36, coming in the middle order. Just hasn't quite done it at the top level in the 5-day game.
Good over. 5 from it, 241 for 6. So into the final part of this rest of the world innings, 241 for 6. Yuvraj stays. They may harbour thoughts of getting up towards 300. 10 and over gets them to 301. Very possible with Yuvraj in good form. Taking on Tendulkar with that sweep again. So a better bowler than we've given him credit for, Sachin Tendulkar, but very much considered a part-time bowler by a lot of people, especially if you're facing him. Is there an element of that? You don't want to get out to Tendulkar.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, other people would look to smash him, but I just got a little bit confused when I was facing him, because it'd be off spinner, googly, leggy.
And long hop hammered away for 4 by Yuvraj to take him to 3 figures. In a really good performance by Yuvraj, who had to shepherd his side through a tricky period when they lost a lot of wickets early on. And he's still there now, and it's only taken him 115 balls to get to 101.
Yep, standing ovation from a full house here at Lord's on a great occasion. He's played his part in a beautiful innings. Excellent one-day player, Yuvraj Singh, and he's rescued his side, given them a score to defend.
Well, it sets up a fascinating contest, doesn't it? Because there's a little bit of spin in this pitch, and just so happens that the rest of the world team contains Shane Warne and Matai Muralitharan. That'll be 4 as well. Well engineered into that gap behind square.
Yeah, he's full of big shots, Yuvraj Singh, but he's got a lot of touch as well. It was perfectly placed. Hard to get that fine as he did. He knew where the gap was. Hit it hard, but fine.
Two boundaries off the over, 249 for 6, and Yuvraj has gone through to his century. 105 not out he is now. This is the moment when he went to 3 figures. Gentle delivery, but put away nonetheless, and appreciated by his teammates and a full house here at Lord's.
And that's a lovely moment as well. Sachin applauding. They would have played a lot of cricket together, those two.
So 5 overs remaining. This rest of the world innings. Easy single. Lord's jam-packed now. There's that hum and buzz going around the ground. I've got to ask you, Andrew, you played all your career here for Middlesex, and obviously plenty of international cricket here. Did it ever seem as though it had become run-of-the-mill playing here? Were certain games more special than others?
Well, almost 2 separate grounds, Lord's. During a test match with a full house, you get that real buzz and atmosphere. Conversely, during a county game, it's almost like being in a museum. Hardly anyone around, but it's still shrouded and surrounded by the history and tradition of the place. I mean, it's just it always was a privilege to play here, not just because of the ground, the way they do things, how well you looked after. You would have enjoyed the quality of the lunches, wouldn't you?
I certainly did. Fantastic. But everything, as you say, everything that was done here was done properly. From nets, pitches, dressing room, lunches, teas, admission.
Yeah, and even though it was a county game and it wasn't a test match, you never felt like a second-class citizen here. The dressing room attendants would give you just as much attention as if it was a test match. And there is just something special about being out there in the middle with the slope, knowing that so many of the great names had trod the same path that you were treading yourself.
Late swing again from Tate.
And the other thing in my time was it was a very flat wicket, especially in county
you'd love
cricket.
that. Well, yeah, there were times when I played here that it helped the bowlers a little. I played, I don't know, 20, 30 times here. And it always felt just that little bit extra special when we played here. The boys from the north coming down and playing for Lancashire against Middlesex. Got hold of that nicely, but it's only one.
And I suppose when you were playing, you would have had the Lord's Ridge in those days, were you? That was around in your time?
Supposedly, yeah. Although I can't really remember there being any extravagant bounce. It was just supposed to be supposedly short of a length, wasn't it? I think it was perhaps a little bit before my time, in the early 70s maybe. I don't know whether it was mythical or not, that ridge. Could be out. No. Ian Gould says no, and may have been some inside edge. It's 253 for 6.
It's got very close to getting an LBW.
Well, he's been the star, Saeed Ajmal, of this MCC bowling performance. 4 for 36. He had 4 for 5 at one stage and was threatening an early end to proceedings. Ripped the heart out of the upper order. Aided and abetted by some pretty good keeping. Peter Siddle's playing him with a stick of rhubarb.
Well, it's a good opportunity for Saeed Ajmal to show his skills. Everyone's looking forward to seeing Warne and Muralitharan in tandem, but this guy's right up there. Incredibly hard to read. Varies his pace exceptionally well.
We got the mouth-watering prospect later in the day of Warne and Muralitharan bowling at Tendulkar and Lara. That would be a fantastic scenario.
There's another example of the change in pace. That one's 68 miles an hour. Such a clever bowler. It's one thing having all the varieties, but knowing when the right time to bowl them is another skill.
It was a slow one. This is obviously bowling at a man who's been in for the best part of 2.5 hours and faced 123 balls, and he's defeated him with a quicker one, and then this that's just stuck in the pitch a touch.
Yeah, and there's another variation, the Doosra. Just so hard to read. Every ball comes out that hand, looks exactly the same. They all come off the wicket completely differently.
Yeah, and it's been interesting watching Chris Reed keep wicket to him as well, because he's read him. Two really good stumpings will show you the wickets at the end of the over.
Well, good keepers would love this challenge, wouldn't they? Even though Chris Reed doesn't know Ajmal well, he hasn't kept him before. The challenge of spotting the varieties, getting yourself in the right position. And as you say, that first stumping, which we'll see in a minute, was an absolute belter.
Got hold of that one nicely, thank you. Flat into the grandstand for 6. 9 off the over, 263 for 6.
Well, not sure which way it's turning. A slog sweep's never a bad option. Not many play it better than Yuvraj Singh. when he hits it, it stays hit.
Fed up of missing them earlier in the over. This is Ajmal earlier on. Quite stumping that from Reed because that ball bounced on him. Tamim LBW. And Peterson completely flummoxed and bamboozled by the Doosra. And then Shahid Afridi bowled second ball. I thought Afridi might have survived a bit longer against him. Probably doesn't bat against him in the nets very often.
It doesn't matter who you are. First few balls you face off a mystery spinner are always difficult. Whether it's Warne, whether it's Muralitharan, or whether it's Syed Ajmal. The longer you stay in, if you can stay in for 20 or 30 balls, you start reading them. But early on, it's almost impossible. You need that bit of luck.
So Ajmal finishes with 4 for 45 then off his 10 overs. Tate is replaced by Brett Lee from the nursery end. Task for Brett Lee, isn't it? Coming back, bowl 4 overs with a new ball, then another spell, and now he's come on, bowl at the end. All overs 48 and 50.
So, come on, Walt, you've been around a long time, haven't you? You've seen all these players play in their pomp. You had to choose one player to watch perform out of all these players playing here today. Who would it be?
Well, given that I wasn't bowling against him, it would be Brian Lara. Supreme entertainer, fantastic player. I mean, it's an unfair question because I mean, Tendulkar's longevity in the game and the way he played was quite supreme. But I think Brian Lara played some of the very, very best of innings in Test match cricket. And the method which he adopted to play, his technique, the high back lift, and just the natural instinct and talent. I thought he was stunning to watch.
I think the thing about Lara was that he played a game that mere mortals couldn't. You could look at him and go, I'd love to play like that, but you knew it was impossible. As Tendulkar was a bit more orthodox, you could see, you look at someone like Ian Bell and you can see shades of Tendulkar in him. Lara was completely different.
Not on the field at the moment, Brian Lara. Just composing himself before a big innings. That's what he's doing.
I mean, you can talk about the batsman. The one for me that was extraordinary was Shane Warne. I mean, how difficult that art is to bowl leg spin. And the way he did it, the control he had, the variety, his persona. Absolute genius.
Slower ball from Lee, well played by Siddle. Yeah, if you're going to ask me to name a bowler, I would say Shane Warne. His artistry, ambition, drive, knowing that he was never ever going to be beaten. Resurrected the art of leg spin, didn't he, in Test match cricket? Glorious, lazy pick-up over mid-wicket, that is, from Yuvraj, at his absolute best.
Poetry in motion. As you say, it's just the ease with which he does it. He's not over-hitting it, he's just helping it along its way. It's gone miles.
It's a classic example of not having to hit the ball too hard. All timing. Glorious pickup. Taking the fielders on as well as a deep mid-wicket, or 2 deep mid-wickets, if you like. Good comeback from Brett Lee. 2 overs to go then, 275 for 6.
Yeah, he's helped by his high backlift. He doesn't have to put pace onto the ball. Backlift does that for him. But he times the ball beautifully, Yuvraj Singh. And that's why he's such a dangerous player in a one-day game, especially in the subcontinent. Kind of felt completely impotent as a bowling side when he got going.
So the captain taking responsibility for bowling the penultimate over at the pavilion end. 3 overs for 21 for Tendulkar. How he'd love a wicket. We'd love to get Yuvraj as well.
Yuvraj not interested in singles at this stage. He's looking for maximums.
And that was the one he was looking for. Nicely flighted from Tendulkar. Straight back over the little man's head. The rest of the world got enough runs, Andrew, to provide a good spectacle here. It'll be a fascinating chase, I think. MCC batting, Finch, Tendulkar, Dravid, Lara, Chanderpaul, the top 5. Got enough on this to get it over the boundary into the pavilion. He has.
Well, it's a long boundary down that way. Yuvraj Singh effortlessly whacks it into the pavilion.
He's had another go. That's a long, lazy, languid swing. He's not timed this one, though. Caught it long on. So Sachin gets the wicket. He gets Yuvraj caught it long on. Fitting end as far as Tendulkar is concerned, and brilliant entertainment from Yuvraj, who's gone for 132 off just 134 balls.
End of an outstanding innings. He's getting the applause. All those legends on the balcony applauding Yuvraj Singh. He came in with his side under real trouble. He's turned it round. Sachin gets his wicket. Nice moment for Sachin Tendulkar as well, but Yuvraj Singh goes for 132. Rest of the world 283 for 7.
Smiles all round, standing ovation for Yuvraj as he walks up the steps into the long room. Members and everybody else being royally entertained. And Sachin can have a smile as well, because he's got his countrymen out. Matt Renshaw, the substitute, taking that steepling catch, but his heart was pounding.
Just a bit, just imagine that. Full house at Lord's, substitute fielder. Sachin Tendulkar bowling. That is pressure. What's Warney got for us? I bet you he hasn't had too many nets, Shane Warne. He might have been practicing his bowling a bit, but I doubt he was spending hours on the bowling machine.
So Shane Warne at the non-striker's end. Batsman cross whilst the ball was in the air. 7 balls left in the innings. Sachin to bowl his final delivery. Which has been hit up the hill for 4 by Peter Siddle. 287 for 7. Sachin finishes 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 33. And Shane Warne is on strike to Brett Lee.
Well, Shane Warne was saying that looking forward to the likes of Brett Lee steaming in at him. Thankfully for him, he's only got 6 spools to get through.
Brett Lee shining the ball assiduously, just to get either a bit of reverse swing on this. Is he going to bowl to his old mate? They had so many test matches together through their career. He's now got a bowl at him in the final over of this 50 over game. Warne on strike then, Lee steaming in. Oh, he's bowled a beamer and hit him on the hand. No love lost there then. Torn about.
Oh, that is horrible. That is really horrible. I doubt it was deliberate, I've got to say. I think he was going for the Yorker, but...
Well, certainly wasn't deliberate, but it might have wrapped Shane on the hand. And that would have been a horror, wouldn't it? Broken finger, unable to bowl. Anyway, he looks all right. What am I going to get now? Not sure that Warne is best pleased or amused.
No, that wasn't what he had in mind for today. It's on the right hand as well, isn't it? Hope that won't affect his bowling.
Up and over cover, that's a Warne special. Profuse apologies from Brett Lee. Not happy though. I hope when he takes that glove off there's no real damage done. God, that's a horrible at any time when you've not been in the middle for goodness knows how long and not probably had a net. Drilled at mid-off and down. Siddle looks at his bat. Ajmal, well, did it carry? I think it did.
Yeah, I thought it might have been just short. Let's have a look. Yeah, in the end it was. Could argue Ajmal might have done better to come in for that.
Got a single anyway. Warne's on strike. His slower ball. Should have bowled him that first up, surely. Not happy with his hand, is he?
Yeah, might have been a bit of trouble there. Beamer, without bouncing, that ball hits the glove exceptionally hard.
Good Yorker from Lee. It's not a free swinging final over then as far as the rest of the world are concerned. 1 ball left in the innings. Shane Warne on strike, still troubled by that blow he's received. There's no smiles there. There's nothing from Shane Warne. I wonder if he is worried about that hand. Still flexing it. Final ball then. They get a single off the last ball of the over. No direct hit. So that's the end of the rest of the world's innings. 293 for 7 then from their 50 overs. Peter Siddle not out 33, very useful innings from him. Shane Warne not out 3 in that final over. The star of the show though, Yuvraj Singh, who made 132.
Yeah, an excellent innings from him. Held the batting together for his side. They were in trouble at one stage. Syed Ajmal was brilliant, wasn't he, against all those legends, bamboozling the likes of Peterson and Adam Gilchrist. They've got a score to defend. Shane Warne will be happy with his side, and it's all set up for a very entertaining afternoon.
So Siddle and Warne make their way off the field. He's not taking that glove off yet, Shane Warne. Hope there's no damage done. MCC side led off the field by Sachin Tendulkar. Handshakes all round, smiles and applause. They've got to make 294 to win this game. Yes, the MCC team out in the